What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and before we get started, before I even go anywhere into this video, I do want to preface this that this is obviously all very technical information. This is not the complete indicative of the final product and what we're going to get from. I mean, from a hardware side, it is, yes, but from the game quality and full feature set and all, I know that it's not the same thing, but there is a whole purpose to this video. So, what we're looking at here is today, Sony had their PS5 deep dive. Something that a lot of people completely hyped up in the wrong way, if you ask me. Many people also forget this. I've been telling people to not expect proper, real world, tangible stuff from this event. I have also been telling them to don't expect to see the console at this event. The main reason for this is, if you remember back in 2013 when Sony properly officially announced the PS4, they did a PS4 deep dive at the time, which, they stood around for half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is, and talked about all the hardware and the specifics and the tech inside it. And that's where the meme was born of, hey, you didn't show us the console. Everyone remember that? But anyway, we've had the new version of that too. So I do want to go on and say, based on what we know so far, I'm not going to go into the super massive, incredible, minute detail like they did on how Mark Cerny wants to come in and tickle every bone in your ear in order to give you a better audio experience, but we're going to just give a quick overview of all the main key tech specs of both the PS5, the Xbox One. Wow, I just completely forgot that the Xbox Series X, aka the Sexbox, was even a thing for a second. But based on all the information available so far, I am going to give my opinion on which one I am more hyped and more excited for. Obviously, all this could change. This is from a very technical level. And there are many, many, many things we don't know, and many, many, many things that will come into effect and have a very big impact on what the actual console delivers at the end of the day. So let's get into it anyway. We have the tech specs for the PS5. It is an 8-core Zen 2 CPU running at 3.5 GHz with variable frequencies, meaning it can run below that if not needed. And an Xbox Series X, oh my god, he's using the right name again, at 8 cores Zen 2 CPU running at 3.8 GHz or 3.6 with hyperthreading. Again, Zen 2 custom. So overall, based on this, CPU, Xbox wins. Now, the PS5 GPU, 10.28 teraflop, 36 compute units, running at 2.23 GHz and variable frequency enabled. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series X is running at 12 teraflops with 52 compute units at 1.825 GHz. Both the PS5 and Xbox use the custom RDNA 2 architecture from AMD. Both consoles also sporting 16GB of GDDR6. One important thing to note here is that the PS5 uses 256-bit memory and the Xbox Series X uses 320-bit memory. Memory bandwidth on the PS5 is up to 448 Gbps and the Xbox Series X has 10GB operating at 560 Gbps, which from what I understand based on the press release from the other day, that's the 10 gig used for games. The other 6 gig runs at 336 gigabytes. Internal storage on the PS5, we have a custom 825 gigabyte SSD, and the Xbox Series X running a 1 terabyte custom NVMe SSD solution. Transfer speeds when it comes to the SSDs in question, we have the PS5 running at 5.5 gigabits per second raw, but will typically be running between 8 and 9 gigabits per second using their compression, compared to the Xbox Series X, which is 2.4 gigs raw and up to 4.8 gig compressed with custom hardware decompression blocks. The expandable storage on the PS5 was kind of touched on but not 100% confirmed and clarified. It seems that you will be able to just open it up and put in one of many consumer level NVMe SSDs in there using M.2 drives, as long as they're PCIe 4.0, because that way they're properly fast enough. Because the custom drive in the PS5 is faster than PCIe 3.0 but slower than 4.0. I would assume they will have some type of external storage in the likes of the expansion cards that the Xbox Series X is using. And speaking of which, they currently have 1TB expansion cards available. Both consoles will support external hard drives, the old school style ones through USB hard disk drives. But of course, you cannot properly play your current, or well, at the time, next generation games off them. So no PS5 or Xbox Series X games played directly off those external drives. Both consoles are sporting a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drive, which of course is for 4K movies, and up to 100GB Blu-ray discs for games. And that's basically it. So with everything we've learned today and everything we've learned recently from Microsoft's reveal of the Xbox Series X, and just factoring one extra thing that's been a bit of a big focus and a big push for both console manufacturers over the end of the last generation and coming into the next generation, backwards compatibility. Previously, Sony had said that the PS5 would play PS4 games, which it technically still will do, but it was kind of alluded to and implied previously that all PlayStation 4 games would natively work, which it pretty much should, considering that's kind of how x86 is designed to work, from an architecture and hardware point. However, based on the wording in the presentation today, it seems like at launch at least, almost all of the top 100 games played on the PlayStation 4 will be backwards compatible. Which means GTA 5, Minecraft, a shitload of Call of Duty, and a shitload of FIFA. Contrast this, you look at the Xbox Series X, which will run over, at least what they've said on launch day, over 600 games combined from the Xbox 180 and Xbox 360, and almost every single Xbox One game. So which one am I more excited for based on everything we've seen and heard of today so far? Remember, this is completely not indicative of anything going forward because the games, the engines, talent behind them, etc., 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 are probably going to be the more important things in the long run. But overall, what we've seen today, what we've seen yesterday, what we've seen last week from both companies, the Xbox Series X is so far completely nailing it. Far, far more than the PS5. Again, we're not talking down to what the developers and all can get out of it, as well as the game library and whatnot. We're just talking about what we've seen so far. Which brings us to one other little point before we round out the video. It's very telling in a sense, isn't it? We're this close to next generation launches, they've given us spec sheets and fact sheets and tech deep dives and whatnot, but they haven't shown us anything next generation when it comes to gaming, visuals, performance, etc. In fact, the only thing I can properly think of is when they showed off Gears of War 5 running slightly optimized, slightly ported, depending on who you want to believe, running on Xbox Series X. So that's a last generation game running at ultra instead of running at low. So yeah, that's a bit worrying in some ways. I want to see next gen stuff. If you expect me to pay 400 or 500, 600 euro for one of these boxes, convince me. But that's it for the moment anyway. Where do you sit on this whole situation? Are you more leaning towards the Sony camp based on strictly what we just know so far? We're not thinking games, we're not thinking exclusives, we're not thinking of performance. We're talking, so far, just the announced feature set and tech specs, like say, backwards compatibility and everything from these lists. Let me know all that in the comments section below. Hit the appropriate button to let me know I did on the video, and while you're at it, why not head on over and hit the subscribe button and even ring the little notification bell. Granted, getting a notification from YouTube in current year can be a whole other story, but hey, at least you can say you tried to get one of those nice little alarm bells after Mark Cerny put you to sleep from a PS5 deep dive. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.